Hi, I'm Daniel from Flightline Pedalboards. Today we'll be looking at some really great case options for the Co-Pilot. That is the smaller of the two pedal boards that Flightline offers. If you're interested in case options for the Captain, that'll be covered in a separate video. So on the left and the right side here, I show two hybrid or semi-rigid cases. These cases are made of fabric, but they contain a rigid liner inside of them to give them their shape and to provide a little bit of extra protection. The case in the middle is a gig bag style case with shoulder straps that can be carried like a backpack. All three of these cases are really solid options for the Co-Pilot, but they're all three a little bit different in the way they can be used. So I'm going to talk about each one separately to give you an idea about which one may be best for you. Alright, so the first case that we're going to look at is made by a company called GODOX. So this case is made of nylon, really nice thick durable nylon. It has a little bit of padding on the outside. But it is, being semi-rigid, it does have a shell sewn onto the inside of it, which makes it really, really nice and durable, offers a lot of protection for your board. You know, if you've got this sitting on a stage and someone trips over it, you wouldn't have to worry about anything inside getting damaged. This particular case is model number CB04, and this case retails for $59. It's about 31 inches long, and it's about 10 inches wide and 10 inches tall. It weighs about 9.5 pounds empty. Now, for carrying this, you've got two handles here, or I guess a single handle for carrying it like a suitcase. No shoulder strap, but we do have these nice wheels here on the end. And then over on the other opposite side, we have a handle here, and you can tip this whole thing up and roll it like a suitcase. So let me go ahead and show you what this looks like the way I use it. So let me show you the top panel real quick. So the top, again, very rigid. It's got a sewn-in shell. It's got a nice mesh pocket on top for carrying, you know, guitar strings and different things. I put a piece of foam on top of the board here just to take up some space, because there is a little bit of extra space right here. And if this was to roll over on its backside, that just keeps the board from flopping around in the case too bad. Now, when you purchase this case, it does come with a handful of dividers that you can move around to create some compartments. And so I created basically two compartments, one for the board and one for all of my gear that I carry. And just to show you how much extra room you have in this case, I've got in-ear monitors, I've got headphone amplifier, vocal mic, I've got my power cable for my board, I've got my guitar cable, plus a patch cable. I've got, I think, 3 XLR cables in here, plus a backup guitar cable. So basically, that's everything that I would travel with to a gig. Now, if you're a player that you like to carry a wah pedal or a volume pedal, or maybe something like an amp attenuator or a DI box, this compartment will give you that extra room so that you can carry extra accessories like that. Okay, this next case we're looking at is made by NEEWER. This is the model PB6. This is also a semi-rigid or hybrid case. Now, this is very similar to the GODOX case, but it is much more compact. It does not quite have as much room in it. This case retails for $89. You can typically find it online for a little bit less than that, maybe between $80 and $85. And this one weighs about 6 pounds empty. So it's 3 or 4 pounds lighter than the previous case. It has a shoulder strap, which is really handy. This is very similar in construction to the previous case. Very hard, rigid lid, rigid sides, and rigid bottom. Has nice hard rubber feet on the bottom as well. And this is a great case for someone that doesn't need to carry a whole bunch of extra things with your pedal board. So I'm going to show you what this one looks like on the inside. And this is weighing in currently right around 22 pounds, I believe, with what I've got in here. Now, this one, again, has a mesh pocket sewn into the lid for some extra goodies. And you can see the difference in this because this case is a little narrower. The board does not actually fit into it face up. It actually has to slide in sort of down into the case. So you can see what I've got here. This is typically the way I would travel with this case. I've got my power cable for the board, my guitar cable, my amp lead, and then I do have my headphone amp and my in-ear monitors down in here. But yeah, this case, a very, very compact solution, but with still really nice impact protection. The third and final case that I'm going to be showing you today is this gig bag here. This is a DJ controller bag that can be found on Amazon. The brand is called RABJEN. This bag retails for right at $59. This bag weighs about 2.5 pounds empty. And what's really cool about this bag, I have had a handful of people that have got a hold of me looking for cases for when they need to travel to a gig, when they need to fly overnight, play a gig, and then fly home. And so they're looking for something that they can carry on their back through an airport that they can carry onto an airplane. And what's great about this case is it meets airline carry-on requirements as far as the height, width, and length. Again, like I said, this is a backpack style case. So you can carry your board around and have both of your hands free for carrying a couple guitars with you. It's hard to find a backpack that opens sideways like this. There's enough room in here for some extra things. I've got an amplifier cable, power cable, and my guitar lead. Again, I've also got my headphone amp and my in-ear monitors. It has these two huge wide flaps on here, and these are some kind of foam rubber material inside of them. They got a little bit of padding to them. And they actually use two pieces of Velcro on them to hold them together, so you can really cinch the two pieces together and really cinch the board down into the backpack. So when you're carrying this around on your back, the board's not swinging side to side inside the case, which has really solid padding in it. This is almost like, feels like a neoprene, kind of a rubbery padding, and it's pretty thick. And it wraps the entire perimeter of the case. I think this is a really solid option for someone that's looking for a backpack style case where they can just grab their pedal board and just go. So that pretty much wraps up the options for Copilot cases. I wanted to give you one last shot of these cases together just so you could get a feel for the sizes and the proportions of them. If you've got any questions about these bags, if there's anything I missed in my descriptions, feel free to leave a question in the comments, or you can always go to flightlinepedalboards.com and you can send me a message about these bags or about Flightline pedalboards in general. See ya.